Hashtag the F word. Hello everyone, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in to the second episode of Disturbed Alchemy with me, Anna Franklin. For those tuning in for the first time, hi and welcome to my podcast. This is a place where I connect with you all and share my thoughts and opinions on an issue or a topic that has been weighing heavily on my mind, something that I may be passionate about, or just anything that merits a conversation. So join me here every Monday and tune in for fresh episodes. All right, let's address the elephant in the room. The big, huge, massive, enormous, humongous, gigantic, colossal. You see where I'm going with this? I'm talking about the F word. Not that F word, you perverts, but the word fat. Let's face it, ladies and gentlemen, we have a problem with that F word. It's even probably more offensive than the other commonly used F word. Do you want to know how much of a problem we have with the word fat? Let's do an experiment. I'm going to request those of you tuning in who are married or in a relationship to help me out on this one. So please find your partners or your spouses, have them sit down next to you or you go approach them. Look deeply and lovingly into their eyes and tell them that they're fat. So did you tell them? Are you okay? I hope there was no physical violence involved. But jokes apart, guys, you see what I mean. The word fat is like a curse word to most people. And this word usually takes on a bad connotation round about the time we enter elementary school. Before that, fat was an expectation and a marker of good health. You know, the kids are expected to be fat at least till the age of 5. No parent dreams of a skinny kid or toddler, right? I mean, every parent has tried to make sure that their kid resembles an Amul baby. Aww. Know what I mean? Cherubic and chubby, which makes everyone think that the child is well fed and taken care of. But once the child turns into a young boy or a girl, the expectations are reversed. I mean, a boy is expected to be fit and athletic, and a girl is expected to be slim and trim. Come on, how many of you have heard that tag, slim and trim? And woe to anyone who doesn't fit that bill, right? So how did we get this way? Well, from childhood, we're told that fat is equal to bad and thin is equal to good. You remember in our childhood, we took our role models from the pages of our storybooks, the cartoons and movies we watched, or the toys that we played with. Remember bedtime stories? The princess was always slim. Any fat princesses? No. Any fat knights in shining armor? Definitely not. In most of our childhood classics, all the characters who are fat were either evil stepmothers or stepsisters or comical characters, but never the prince or the princess. Think of Ursula from The Little Mermaid, the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland, or Hades from the movie Hercules. And if they were not fat, well, they were ugly. Thank God for Shrek and Fred Flintstone, who are legends according to me.
Hey Wilma, I'm home.
I really think they broke the mold. I have very fond memories of playing with my Barbie dolls, and I used to wonder when I'd grow up to look like Barbie. Thank God I switched to G.I. Joes and comics later. But even in the comics that I read, whether it was a DC comic or a Marvel comic, Dark Horse, or even Archie comics, I barely felt a connection to the body images of my heroes and heroines. Granted, they were all super, but there was no human connection for me. And in movies, well, when I looked at the movies, the beautiful heroine was always the classic stereotype of long legs, tiny waist, and an exaggerated bust line. And the male lead, of course, he had to be a veritable hunk without any flaws, any flab, just six packs and a smolder. Think about it. The fat actor is usually cast as the funny guy or the villain or that sad person who gets killed off in the very first scene in the horror movies. Right from the late Chris Farley to Jack Black and Jonah Hill, all the way to Tamil Nadu's own Sendil and Bollywood's Johnny Lever. Right from clothes to food, even to phones, slimmer is better. Slimmer bezels on phones, low fat, no fat, and zero fat are the labels we look for at grocery stores. And don't let me even get started on clothing, guys. Size 0, XS, XXS. I mean, XXS, by the way, is the clothing size for a 10-year-old.
What?
So imagine an adult wearing that. Pick up any magazine, and I bet you that there is at least one article on how to lose weight or something fat related, like recipes, diet tips, or dressing to appear slimmer. Number of us wearing black out there. Yes, I know why we are wearing black, because black is slimming, right? Come on, we've all read these articles and at least have tried them once. Which brings me to this, something that is dangerous and toxic and lethal at times: fat shaming. Here are some news clippings that I'm going to read for you, just the title. This comes from the Pune Mirror in 2019. Fat shamed by her in-laws for 4 years, woman is driven to suicide. The next one comes from my hometown of Chennai. The DT Next gives us this headline: Class 11 student commits suicide by immolating self over classmates' fat-shaming remarks. And now, in a recent news article that I just read, in a cricket tournament held recently in Abu Dhabi, few players got fat-shamed after coming out to play post the lockdown. Wow! Twitter was actually abuzz with comments like healthy waistlines, cricket will never be a global sport because of certain players' weight gain, and one person wrote, pretty shocked to see some players so unfit. So what is this fat shaming? Well guys, fat shaming is criticizing and harassing overweight people who are bigger than what is called normal or fit by societal standards, to make them feel ashamed of themselves. It's so toxic and abusive because it actually gives another person the right to make a fat person feel disgusted or unloved or unworthy just based on their body weight. The milder form of fat shaming is known as fat phobia. This is more common because you will see it almost everywhere. It's the irrational fear or dislike of people who are not skinny. Fat phobic individuals automatically assume all sorts of things about fat people. Things like fat people are lazy, fat people hate exercise, fat people are junk food addicts, fat people are gluttons, fat people have no self-control, so on and so forth. And to top it off, there are certain diseases or conditions like hypothyroidism, insulin resistance, polycystic ovary syndrome, Cushing syndrome, which lead to obesity and make it very hard for those facing these problems to lose weight. How rude it would be to shame such individuals. Think about it. They could have just had a baby. They could have just lost some weight from before. They could have severe anxiety or depression or an eating disorder, or like me, have a really Hulk smash kind of attitude. Would you go ahead and fat shame these individuals without even knowing what they're going through? Isn't that terribly ignorant and rude? You know, being a fat person myself, I have seen my fair share of fat shaming, mommy shaming, fat phobia, and usually I know how to put shamers in place. But there were some moments when my heart really sank and I found myself in tears. From being told that we don't carry your size by shopping assistants at any retail store, even before I picked up that dress I liked or looked at the label, or being advised to drink hot water with lemon from random strangers. Oh, yeah, I was taking a walk in the park the other day and some random, extremely creepy looking masked guy decided to give me advice. Oh yeah, that happened. He just stalked me, ran behind me, said hi and gave me this tip. From friends telling me that I'm beautiful even though I'm fat. Because those two adjectives can't coexist. It's a universal rule, mutually exclusive. And the constant reminder from family and some relatives that I used to be thin. Well, we all have that one relative who takes savage pleasure in pointing this out at family gatherings, right? And don't even get me started on being told that I'd never find a suitable man to marry. Oh, if I remained fat. I guess the joke's on them now, right?
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong.
Well, now I have people come up to me and say that I'm very lucky because I have a husband who doesn't care what I look like. WTF? What does that even mean? Or that I'm very brave for letting myself go after marriage. Go? Go where? Where did I go? And the worst one? Right from married friends with kids to random strangers. Are you pregnant? Followed by congratulations. Because I look like I'm carrying. Because I have a stomach. Little do they know that that's probably gas or a food baby. And now because of their assumption, I have to make 100 calls to inform people that I'm not pregnant before somebody starts congratulating me on social media. Sound familiar, guys? Those aren't compliments or helpful tips. Because compliments are supposed to make you feel good, not embarrassed. But these words, they've become socially acceptable. Yes, we've embraced fat shaming as though it was the norm. The common misconception is that it motivates an individual to lose weight and get healthier. Fat shamers usually say things like, don't you want to look good or better, or think about your health? Because we all know that insulting is the best way to bring forth motivation from fat individuals. Yes, shame them until they change. No, that doesn't work. That's not the kind of reality check anyone needs. Motivation and shame are very different things. You can't shame a person into getting motivated. It's very sad and strange to think that insults will lead to motivation. So let me share with you guys my latest fat shaming experience. I wasn't feeling too well a couple of months ago, just when the pandemic had started, and I tried very hard to find a doctor who could meet me. Luckily, I found a doctor and I went to the clinic, walked in, took a seat, and finally was greeted by this very serious looking doctor. So I explained my problem and was hoping for a solution from my doctor. But all that my doctor was concerned about was my fat, my weight, why I'm like this, and proceeded to tell me that my husband was fit and I was fat, that I would never be healthy in life if I remained fat, and every single medical problem in life was caused by fat. Now we know for a fact that there are some risk factors involved with being too fat, but the way she spoke to me made me sound like I have been the most irresponsible individual in my entire life just because I had gained weight. She shamed me left, right and center. In fact, insulted me over something as simple as missing documents. I did not have a document on hand and she asked me, "So did you forget to eat your lunch as well?" I was shocked to my core. Not only was this doc fat shaming me, but this person did not even provide any treatment for my problems. I was hurt and ashamed. What gives a person who is in a respectable profession like medicine such animosity towards me? Without telling me the side effects or consequences of being too fat, she only focused on fat shaming me, hurting my feelings and making me feel very, very sorry for myself. In fact, what gives anyone that right to make it feel so acceptable to shame and embarrass a larger, bigger or fatter human being? And that is why I call fat the F word. And sadly, along with sexism, colorism and racism, fat shaming is one of the most commonly accepted harmful practices in almost all societies. By the way, even thin and skinny people get skinny shamed, and mocked at. It's an actual thing. I guess we haven't spared any body shape or size. Not only that, but mothers and fathers aren't safe from body shaming either. There's rampant mommy shaming and daddy shaming as well. But on the flip side, what about being healthy? Is it possible to be healthy at every size? In a word, no. But I must say that this is my personal opinion and it need not be yours. When fat may not be a problem, obesity certainly is. The World Health Organization terms obesity as abnormal or excessive fat accumulation that presents a risk to health. Sadly, obesity is linked to many issues ranging from diabetes, stroke, heart problems, joint problems, sleep disorders, and even premature death. Before starting this episode, I scoured the internet for information, did a lot of digging, and went through a lot of documentaries on fat shaming, obesity, health, both physical and mental. From the Dear Fat People video that went viral to my 600-pound life and super size versus super skinny, I watched many fitness experts talk, doctors giving discourses on health and weight, and so many more shocking incidents involving obesity and their side effects. Some of the content that I watched made me cry, some hit a nerve, and some made me think. So according to what I've seen and understood, if your body weight is not an issue in performing daily and routine activities such as walking, taking the stairs, running after a pet or a child, doing regular chores, going to work, having a fun time with friends, and generally living without a disease or having constant aches and joint pains, then my friends, you be proud of your body, no matter what size it is, no matter what society says. But if you feel that you are struggling with these day-to-day regular occurrences because of your weight, perhaps losing a pound or two wouldn't be the worst idea, right? I have personally felt awesome after getting into a healthier lifestyle and being more physically active. I still eat whatever I want and enjoy all foods, but I make sure that I eat healthier food more often, take walks and engage in some form of exercise and sleep well. So now we're all caught up on what fat shaming, fat phobia and body shaming is. So what do you do when you see someone around you being fat shamed, or if someone fat shames you? Well, I have a few tips and suggestions that may help. Number 1, remember, self-love, guys. You are amazing and your worth is not dictated by your body, weight or size. Your self-esteem should never be measured on a weighing scale. Stop fat shaming yourself. Stop looking at the mirror and finding fault with every chubby part of your body. Learn to accept your body and work with it. Stop being negative about the word fat. It's just an adjective. Use it as a description of your outward appearance. Don't attach a negative meaning to it. Use it with love. And don't expect the world to accept you for who you are overnight. Patience is a virtue, guys. While you may break stereotypes and love your body for yourself, the world may not do the same. They might need a little catching up to, right? Give them some time. People will come around. And lastly, when it comes to yourself, it's all right to break down and let it all out. Talk to somebody. Talking about your feelings is a good way to get rid of those negative feelings that you have about yourself. And even considering talking to a professional is not a bad idea. It's okay, we all have bad days when we are down and we feel bad about ourselves. Talking about it definitely makes it better. And now that we've seen what we can do with ourselves and with regards to fat shaming, what about when it comes to others? When you see others being fat shamed, what can you do? It could be your friend, your colleague, your child, your parent, or even someone online. What can you do? Well, the number one thing that you can do is stop joining in on the fat shaming game. Don't encourage shamers by being a part of their ideology. Don't share tweets, texts, messages, posts, or anything that endorses fat shaming or body shaming. Imagine you get a text and there's some fat shaming content on it. Don't promote it by blasting it on WhatsApp or tweeting it on Twitter or posting about it on Facebook. You can step in and educate. Tell the fat shamers to their face that it's counterproductive to any of their good intentions. Using shame as a motivator to being healthy will not work. Show them the facts. And sometimes the best response is no response. Why give the fat shamers the satisfaction of getting a reaction out of you? So this is very applicable to messages, posts. If someone has fat shamed you by sending you a message or a text that hurts you, it's best just to ignore that text and move on. And last but not least, break stereotypes gently. People may not even be aware of the fatphobic comments that they make against you, so step in and tell them how you feel. Tell them, hey, I didn't like what you said about me, that hurt. Tell them that it is not something acceptable, and watch as people turn from ignorance to woke in 5 seconds flat. It's worked with me, my friends, and I'm hoping it'll work with you too. The world is slowly changing its views on body shaming, fat shaming, and fat phobia, my friends. There are plus size models like Ashley Graham and Payal Soni who have made waves, or should I say curves, in the fashion industry. Actors like Vidya Balan, Khushbu, and Rebel Wilson kill at the box office. And stand-up comedians like Gabriel Iglesias, Fluffy, have us in stitches. Singers like Lizzo, Kelly Clarkson, and entertainers like Oprah Winfrey and James Corden have all shown us that talent and success have no shape or form or size or body shape. Before I close the curtains on this episode, I'd like to say that it's ultimately up to you and what you decide is best for your body. All bodies aren't the same. We're all made differently. What works for me and what's right for me might not work for you or be right for you. But no one deserves to be body shamed or abused for how fat they are. With that in mind, can we make a promise to ourselves today? A promise to be kinder to our bodies? A promise to respect all bodies, shapes and sizes. Let's take a stand against all forms of body shaming. Instead, let's create more awareness around health and acceptance. And that was the episode, guys. I hope you liked it as much as I did. And before I wrap up, here are the shoutouts for this episode. Here's wishing Vaishnavi, Shruti and Sophia a very happy birthday. Lots of love to you, Libran ladies. I'd also like to thank Shinola Sagar and Babita Das for never giving up on me. I love you, girls. So tune in next Monday with me, Anna Franklin, on Disturbed Alchemy. If you like this episode, please like, share and subscribe to my channel on YouTube. Listen to this on Spotify and on Apple Podcast. Disturbed Alchemy is on Facebook and Instagram as well. So please DM me for any suggestions, feedback or topic ideas. Until next Monday, stay happy and stay safe and say no to fat shaming and body shaming. See you guys. Bye-bye.